Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, it's that time of year again. It's Halloween, and I thought I'd try and watch some non-John Carpenter Halloween films before Halloween, but I didn't find much. I watched Trick or Treat and The Night Before Halloween, but I ended up trying to catch up with Art. Now, when Terrifier 3 hit the cinemas and was a big hit at the box office, a lot of people were asking who the hell is Art the Clown, because a lot of people hadn't seen the first two Terrifier films because they were sort of low budget sort of films. And when I did a sort of little bit of research, Art actually made a few appearances before that. He started off in the 2008 short film The Ninth Circle, where he sort of scares this woman in an empty train station, and then she's kidnapped by people, and he's in the film, but he's not actually like the main killer or anything. Now, the second appearance he had was in a short film from 2011 called Terrifier, where he appears at a gas station. He ends up killing the gas station attendant and then chasing this woman who saw him. And at one point she stops at another car that's parked and tries to ask for help, and the lady who's in the car has had her face eaten off, which comes up later. Now, then they did All Hallows Eve, in which there's a lady babysitting kids, and they find a VHS cassette tape in their bag of lollies. So they end up watching it, and it's the two short films that Art appeared in, and it scares them. She puts the kids to bed, and then she watches another video, and Art appears to come out of the screen, basically, or into the real world. And then she tries to protect the children, but Art kills them. And you actually see their heads cut off on the bed. And it's pretty interesting because we don't often see kids killed in movies. But there isn't a lot of actual gore in these films at this point. There's a bit, but especially the short films. There's one really horrific scene, but you never actually see what he's doing in some of the shots, because I guess they didn't have the makeup budget in the short films. But then we got The Terrifier in 2016, which, All Hallows Eve, obviously he appears in it, he does the killing, he's at the end, but this is really his own film. And it's a little cheap, but it's fairly well done. I mean, there's a couple of weird characters who don't make a lot of sense, which you often find in short films and fan films when the writing isn't great. But basically, there's these two girls, they go to a party, they're walking home, they see Art the Clown, and he starts stalking them, and they end up, one of them gets killed, or it appears, the other one gets stuck in a house and chased by him, and this house, there seems to be no escape from this house. She ends up in basements and other areas and garages, and it's just, she just never gets out of this house once she gets in there. Eventually, Art gets shot by the police, and this girl goes to a hospital, and you see she's had her face chewed off. And I'm like, okay, so at the start of this film, we see a woman who's had her face chewed off, and she looks like the woman who, the other girl in Terrifier, when she finds the person in the car with her face chewed off. I thought that was her. But then this, I'm like, does he chew off women's faces off in the exact same way in two different cases? Or was that her, and are they playing with time? Because there's no indication that they did that I could see. But, yeah, I haven't seen the Terrifier 2. I haven't seen Terrifier 3. Terrifier 2 was made for a bit more money, but I think it's around the same quality. Terrifier 3 is more of a real film from what I hear, a real horror film, and they had more money for budget and effects, and apparently the gore is over the top, and a lot of people are reacting to it. And I think it's because they've kind of taken that sort of nasty, low budget, online fan film sort of horror and put it on the main screen, because normally those films, because they don't have a studio overseeing them, they don't have a budget, and they just kind of go wild, they're usually a bit more full on than some of the studio films. So I think they've sort of managed to take that and bring it up to the sort of the mainstream budget level for a film. But still haven't seen it. But Art the Clown is interesting. He doesn't speak. He just clowns around, and he's hideous. You do see him actually getting dressed and putting his makeup on at the start of the film, which is interesting, because I was unsure, is he a real person or is he some sort of monster, some sort of creature that appears on Halloween? Because I think all these films are set on Halloween. But you actually see him put on his gloves and put on his hood and put on his makeup and put on his little hat and everything. So you see he's actually a person. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out in the second and third films, because if he's just a person, he can be injured, he can be killed. What does he do for the rest of the time when he's not out killing people? It's sort of interesting, because at first I thought he was just a monster, like sort of Freddy Krueger or something. But yeah. Either way, the short films were interesting. The first film was good, even though it was cheap. I'm looking forward to watching the second and third films eventually. The second one is on YouTube to buy or rent, but I think I'll buy the DVD. And 3 obviously isn't out yet, and I'm not going to the cinema. So I'll watch that soon. I'll probably get them both and do a little marathon. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Terrifier and Art the Clown. Is he now on the level of Freddy and Jason? Is he, joining that sort of little group?